Hello, my jellyfighters. My name is Jim, and this is your daily Brogue for the 16th of July, 2020 something or other. Yeah, last time I died on the third level with an eel, trying to sneak around it because I wasn't going to kill it, and that happens. So I left it. Right. As much as I hate to die under such circumstances, that is, if you go to the Lumenstone, if you go to the web Brogue, you'll see that that is the most common thing. Um, Killed by an eel on depth 2, depth 3. I think it's actually still killed by an eel on depth 1. I don't know when eels stopped being. Let's see, depth 1 dudes, depth 1 monsters, but that was a good call. I mean, I started playing Lumenstone. It was playing Brogue. I started playing Brogue well after 1.74 came out. So during that long time when there was only this old version of Brogue. And already by that point, darkness. Good time for darkness. Okay, let's equip the axe, I guess. A little bit stronger than the base. So that might help. Might not. Okay, so nothing there. Nice thing about clairvoyance is you know when not to do things for a long time still, I'm sure. Rings take like 1500 steps, turns to identify. Maybe like 1,000 for your armor, I think. So we are just talking about that AI stuff. Um, I don't think I want to talk about that anymore, but what do I want to talk about? Okay, well, I was talking about, or I was reading, I've been rereading Karl Popper's The Open Society and Its Enemies. I've been rereading this book because people seem to be getting things that are much different out of it than I got. And so I wanted to reread it and see if I could see these things. Might have been better if I went and I actually systematically wrote down the things that I thought were different between what I thought the book said and what they thought the book said. But try to find a school. But when I read through it a long time ago, I felt that Karl Popper was very much a liberal, a very classical liberal, which means that he probably had, I would have considered that he had more in common with me than with, say, George Soros. George will disagree, but okay. So did I find a key? No, I think there was only a Snarglen Clam was the only school I got. Snarg Creepsax Puzzing Porta Para Woos. Porta Power Woos. Okay. All right. What do we have? Porta Poder Pora Woos. Or Snarg Greep Snarg Puss. One of those two, I think, would be it. That's enchanting. Okay. I don't at this point have a good spot telling me anything about where to enchant. So we'll go with the clairvoyance. The grip snarg. There's my shattering. Sap of blinking is okay. Haste charm +2 is pretty good. You have to commit to the haste charm, but if you do, it's a good thing. So, I'm going to go with the scale mail. But people were getting things that I thought were very out of what I thought Popper was saying when I read the book. So they seem to spend a lot of time justifying why some people shouldn't be heard trying to use Popper's system. So in a lot of ways, I thought they were not very good acolytes of old Popper. Popper wouldn't want acolytes, but that's what they were trying to be. Um, Mostly they were looking at a particular phrase, right? A particular phrase they were fond of, which was something on the order of, found in a footnote, intolerance of intolerance is no vice, or something like that. I don't remember the exact phrase as it was put to me. Okay. Perfect. Let's see what we see naked here. The whip and the splint mail are no good. So blinking, the haste charm. Blinking's good as well. At least for now, I don't see any reason to attack those goblins, right? So our general philosophy is don't kill things you don't have to kill, right? If those guys are going to sit there and worship, just like Karl Popper would ask us to, we allow them their freedom of religion and are tolerant of it. Well, what I think has happened with the tolerance stuff is the way rhetoric has become, right? The rhetoric has tended to push disagreement with certain policy positions towards, or to call disagreement with certain policy um, provisions, things like you know racist, homophobic, whatever. And by doing that, they use um, this admonition cynically, I would say, um, generally in order to insist on some how should I say this? Asymmetry in their rhetoric. That is, as often is the case, because we're good people, we're allowed to, we're good, tolerant people, so we're allowed to speak one way. But if you do the same thing towards us, then that proves you're intolerant and blah, blah, blah. So it's some of the institutionalized hypocrisy that we see going along in modern politics. I mean, there's always been hypocrisy in politics, but in general, um, that's how it is. That's how these things start, right? Uh, they do tend to ignore some of the other footnotes. For example, um, where do we get intolerance? Sap is bad. Lincoln wouldn't help me with this. Oh, the end. Spear wasn't any good. Oh, I already knew that. Somewhere around here, there was probably something worthwhile. I'd done one of those threes. One of those threes was a teleportation. I should have used a teleportation. That would have. I didn't know it was a teleportation, but I should have used one of these. Right? I should have used these two guys because I was in a bad space, and I knew I was in a bad space. So I should have tested these things, just hoped for the best.